So I endeavoured to video what I was doing then, but didn't press record on the video. But I'll show you quickly what I've been on with. So I welded this panel back in here, and to be honest with you, I didn't do a very good job of it, because of course you've got a big gap there which we'll now have to fill. So that one there, and then there's a bit of a gap at the bottom which I'll have to do. And of course the swage markings here are a little bit out, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want to spend like a shed load of money on the wings, but now I'm just going to spend a shed load of time welding them up. But still, that's part of the fun, I suppose. And of course it creates a bit of content, you know, for the old YouTube, which is great, because me just putting a wing on would be boring, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's put you back over here, and I'm going to carry on grinding off the what I'm doing now. So I'll get this to a point where we can actually see what we're doing. Now we're playing as well, which is quite handy. Let's get it nice and straight like that. There you go. Right, I'm going to set to it with the grinder. The reason I went off was the grinding disc I've got on there at the minute is no good, so I thought I'd go and get some blue spot ones from Wilco's, which is just around the corner, and now I'm going to put them in and start grinding it all down. Obviously what you found there, or what I found, was that where the panel's really thin anyway, and where I've ground it back, the weld had come detached, so now I've put a bit more weld in it, but of course it's thin, really thin, so now hopefully that'll be on there now and sticking. But so I'll rub that bit down there and then go from there. So I think it's actually inevitable that, I'm just going to show you closely, that you wouldn't get a bit of warping in the panel. So you can see it here, look. I mean, you know, if I was a skilled welder, like taught to do welding, I've just been kind of self-taught really. You know, I would probably get all that out. But basically what I'm going to do is put a load of body filler on it, just to, hopefully that should kind of get that out, or alleviate that problem. And then go from there. And really it's one of those, but that's looking a lot better, especially for the MOT, of course. That's what the next thing is. So this, the MOT is due. So and they did pick it up on the last MOT. So yeah, anyway, carry on. Right, bring you down and show you what I've done. So that's what I was just mucking about with there. Just getting it, because I did it actually a little bit wrong, but it's on there. And then that last little bit at the bottom there, which it'll tidy up a lot better. And then of course you've got this swage mark in here, but I'll show you something quick. I'll just put you down there a second. When I glue this back on, you actually won't really notice it that much. It actually fits quite nicely in there, so it's not perfect, but it will do. And then there's that little dent there, which I'll deal with this one here. But yeah, it's not too bad. Quite pleased with it, really. weld-through primer. When you weld two panels together like I'm going to do there, you spray some weld-through primer on there to stop the panel rusting in between where you weld. I'm not actually going to do it on the inside of the wing because the original wing is actually galvanised on the Audi A6. So where I've cut up to, it's all galvanised, of course, all painted. So yeah, there's no need to spray it on in that bit. The repair piece that I just cut there was proving to be somewhat difficult to get it to line up correctly, and I couldn't get a pair of mole grips in there, so in the end I ended up having to hold it in place and tack it. As you'll notice in a minute, I didn't shut the lid on my or shut my visor down, and I tacked it with closing my eyes, which isn't really the ideal thing to do. So you know, if you've got someone to help you, then and if you can get a clamp in there, then by all means do that rather than do it the way I did. This wing was actually quite difficult to weld, being that it's galvanised anyway underneath the paint and the thickness of it. So it was quite challenging, if I'm honest. However, my Clark welder that you see there, which you can buy from Machine Mart, I'm not endorsed by them, by the way, coupled with the Hobby Weld gas that you can get from a lot of suppliers nowadays, it's a game changer with a little welder like that. It makes the welds that you do so much better and a lot easier to do and to set up as well. When welding thin panels and sheets of metal like this, the key to it is to go nice and slowly and to keep it as cool as possible to stop the panel from warping through the heat of the weld. The other alternative to welding a panel on, like what I'm doing there, is to use Clecos. These Cleco pins basically you either drill or punch a hole in the panel, and they go through the panel and hold it in place. So you'd probably have maybe 4 or 5 or 6 maybe to hold this type of panel on, and it would hold exactly where you need it, and then you tack it on and away you go essentially. One other thing that you have to be aware of, and whilst you're welding panels or anything on a car, is for fire. So if a spark drops down somewhere or gets something a bit hot and it catches fire, then of course you're going to have to put it out, or the whole thing will catch fire. At this point, the welder didn't seem to be going all that well to me, so I've adjusted it slightly to give me a slightly better weld, and preparing to do more tacks. The other alternative is to have a practice piece where you set the welder up exactly right how you need it to be, and then you can carry on and do the bit on your workpiece that you're working on. So I tried to go from one side to the other to stop the heat building up too much from the panel. So tack it on one side, then go to the other, tack it, and then basically meet in the middle. Another reason for the difficulty in welding outside especially is that the wind will come and blow away the gas, which in turn gives your weld, it doesn't shroud over the weld and makes it not as good. So this is why you normally see people welding inside. They tend not to be welding outside. Just changing my disc on the grinder to now clean up the welds that I've done. I tend to not bother using the spanner. I just do it up by hand using the brake and turning the disc itself. Make sure if you're going to do that it's unplugged and that you wear gloves. And these were getting a bit tired after at this point because I've been doing a lot of kneeling down. So always look after your knees is what I would say, and definitely have a foam mat to kneel on. And finally, just going to make a piece to fill in the gap there, which is what I'm doing now. Those pliers I'm using are snap-on linesman pliers, and I love them because you can squeeze really hard with them, and you can also hammer. You can use a section of it as a hammer, which is essentially what they're for. But linesman's pliers you can get in other makes as well, which is great. Or grinding. So now I'm just grinding off what that bit I've just welded on there, and cleaning it all up ready for after this. I'll have etch primer on it and then filler over the top of that. Once you finish using the welder, don't forget to turn the gas off. I've always found that if you're paying for it, it's a bit of a motivation to make sure you definitely turn it off. Just using a bit of brake cleaner to clean any oil or grease off of the panel, ready for me to put the etch primer on top. So, as you can see, so I've welded all along here and down there. I can't remember if I've told you, but basically the reason being, there's the engine bay, very reasonable. These things are so great to be fixed, really. I've put new seals in this part of the fuel pump. I did at the time. I didn't have my YouTube channel up and going, so I didn't video it, unfortunately. But I did find a video online for that, and then that side there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a bit of etch primer on these bright bits of metal, and then that'll be ready. Once that's dry, I'll be ready to start putting the filler in, and then go from there. And then it can go in for the paint, powder coat and chrome, or just the paint. I use the U-Pole X primer, is pretty good gear. I'm using a bit of gaffer tape here to mask up the bumper and the plastic trim at the bottom of the sill, only because I didn't have any other masking tape to use, so that was just to hand, so I used that. I've always loved the way this thing starts. So let me show you. It's been sat all day. Just sort of flicks into life beautifully. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and Stay tuned for more videos.